Good morning, this is Vince, and I'm with my wife Stacy here on North Manitou Island. This is June, oh gosh, what is it, the 18th or something like that, 19th. And this morning we're going to make some coffee. So this will be a review of the Jetboil Flash stove and a little bit of our coffee making process. So I found this Jetboil stove to be, I'm very happy with it. I've had it for a year, and my previous stove was a Sierra Zip stove, a wood burning stove. The Jetboil is very efficient on fuel, and for an extended trip I find that I don't have to carry as much fuel as other stoves that I looked at, and so the weight savings in fuel makes up for, I mean, I know it's not the lightest alcohol stove, but over an extended period I use less fuel and don't have to carry as much. Everything comes packaged inside of the stove. You can pack it in that way. I've already filled the stove with water, so you won't see me unpacking everything. Attaches to a standard fuel canister. It's large and small. I think we're going to primarily use the small ones in the future because the small ones do pack inside of the stove. The larger ones don't fit. Stove comes with this nice stabilizing stand which snaps onto the bottom. It'll snap onto either size fuel canister, and then the stove burner obviously screws into the top of the fuel canister. So I will start that up. And this will boil water very quickly, so I should have started a timer already, but I didn't. Okay, got one now. I'm using about 2.5 cups of water, which is more than the maximum safe amount they recommend for the stove. They recommend only 2 cups of water. But that's not enough for the coffee for both of us. So we are using whole coffee beans, and my wife has already ground some just a few minutes ago. And that's a little more than 2 ounces of coffee beans, coffee grounds, per making about a 16-ounce cup of coffee for each of us. And we're using the Divior manual coffee grinder. It only weighs 1 ounce or 2. I don't have the exact weight with me, but it's pretty quick and easy process. There you go. So this stove, as the water heats up, it will turn colors to let you know that it's getting close to boil. And I think the reason for the maximum 2-cup safe limit that they stamp onto the inside of the cup is because when it starts boiling, it will boil over and it'll be difficult to turn it off without burning yourself. So it's getting close. So I'm just going to keep an eye on it and turn it off before it gets to a rapid boil. So we're about 2.5 minutes into it right now for 2.5 cups of water. We do have some bubbles, tiny bubbles. Faster bubbles. Okay, we're going. We got a rolling boil, and that is about 3.5 minutes, and that's for 2.5 cups of water. Now, when I've got this much water in there, what I've found works best is to pour off some of the water first. So that I have enough room inside of the cup to add the grounds and stir it in. Otherwise it kind of foams up and would overflow it. And then it's recommended to let the grounds steep for about 4 minutes. And I find that the more I stir the coffee, the stronger it gets. Now this is the Jetboil Flash. Jetboil the brand, Flash is the model, the Java edition, which means that it includes a French press. So the French press is a metal screen with a gasket around the outside. The handle screws through the lid. I've found you don't want to screw this down very tightly because it'll be difficult to unscrew. And you don't need it tight, but just slightly snug. Now, regarding the efficiency of stoves, the faster you can boil water, the better, because as you're waiting for it to boil, heat is being lost. So the less heat loss you can have, the less fuel you need to use. So a process that takes twice as long to boil just uses twice as much fuel, even though you end up at the same result. Smells good. Got about another minute to let it dissipate its full coffee deliciousness into the surrounding water so that we can drink it. If the water does boil over the top of the stove, generally it puts the flame out itself. It's probably not an intentional design feature, but seems to work well and doesn't seem to affect the stove at all. I've boiled over many times. Okay, it should be coffee-ish enough. Now the magic French press. Just press down slowly and gently. And honey, you want to get your coffee cup? And that's coffee. Enjoy.